Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. So, if you've been watching our show for a while, you know that I spend a fair amount of my time making videos responding to these just crazy, sensationalistic, untrue headlines about vegan diets. Like, if you stop eating meat, you'll go protein deficient and lose your hair, or all the sugar and carbs will kill you, and other such nonsense. So, I want to also shine light on stories that don't do that, stories that are positive, the stories that are truthful about veganism. For instance, this headline that's been blowing up on social media, where supposedly Harvard is coming out saying that about a third of early deaths could be prevented by everyone giving up meat. So yes, this is some big news, saying some really good things about what happens if you give up eating meat. So let's see what was really said. Was there a study? Who or what said this at Harvard? What information was this really based on? What studies, if any? And I want to see how some people in the media are reacting to this very pro-vegan message. So these shocking headlines, not shocking to us, but shocking to most of the rest of the world, these headlines were not based on any study that Harvard published. Rather, these were based on the words spoken by one of their distinguished professors, Walter Willett. And he was speaking at a conference in Vatican City, the Unite to Cure 4th International Vatican Conference. And he said, we have been doing some calculations looking at the question of how much we could reduce mortality shifting towards a healthy, more plant-based diet. Not necessarily totally vegan. And our estimates are about 1/3 of deaths could be prevented. So even for those of us who are aware of the plethora of science that clearly shows the healthful benefits of a plant-based diet, this is pretty shocking news. If people were to eat more like us, a plant-based, a vegan diet, 1 out of every 3 deaths would not be. I mean, this is incredible news. 1 out of every 3 deaths wouldn't happen if people ate like we do. And, you know, this isn't that shocking for those of us that are aware of the science. Have you seen Dr. Greger's video about uprooting the leading causes of death? And there he shows how if you eat a plant-based diet, that actually prevents and in many cases reverses the leading causes of death. Dr. Willett from Harvard continues. He says, when we start to look at it, we see that healthy diet is related to a lower risk of almost everything we look at. So of course, most media outlets are not too excited when they hear information like this, that going plant-based, that going vegan is actually good for you, it's healthy. So a few websites were skeptical of this, IFL Science in particular, and they're always skeptical of studies that show that vegan diets are healthy. Well, they contacted Dr. Willett of Harvard and asked him, what research, what study is this information based on? And he said there's not one single study, but he referred them to 3 studies, which I'll show here, and all 3 of these studies he's involved with, and all of them back up what he's saying about the healthfulness of plant-based diets and the opposite, how not quite so healthy diets are that have a lot of animal products in them. And of course, IFL Science had to ask Dr. Willett, is he referring to vegan or vegetarian diets here? And Dr. Willett said, I didn't refer to vegan or vegetarian diets for several reasons. First, the replacement issue is critical, he says. If we replace red meat with soda, refined starch, and sugar, we will probably not be better off. It might even be worse off. And yeah, I kind of like what Dr. Willett is saying here because, yeah, a lot of people assume when you go vegan, you're automatically eating healthier, but you could have a complete junk food vegan diet. Sure, if you just want to go vegan, I'm cool with that. You know, the animals aren't dying, the environment's better off, awesome. But if you want to get the full benefits of a vegan diet, I agree with Dr. Willett here. You got to do it in a healthy way. Dr. Willett adds, however, if we replace it with a mix of nuts, beans, soy foods, whole grains, we will have lower risks of heart disease, diabetes, and total mortality. And I would like to add to Dr. Willett's list fruits and vegetables. In essence, what he's saying, eat more whole food plants if you wish to avoid dying a premature death of these preventable diseases. What I find funny about IFL Science's article here is they say, at present, however, there doesn't yet appear to be a clear consensus that the vegetarian or vegan diet will help you live longer, even if the research frequently suggests that they're generally healthier. And what they're referring to is that there are some outlier studies that show there's no benefit going plant-based. But again, these are outlier studies, which means they are in the minority. I mean, there's literally hundreds of studies. This is the back of Proteinaholic by Dr. Garth Davis. Hundreds and hundreds of peer-reviewed studies, goes on like 70 pages, that show the healthfulness of plant-based diets and the disease-promoting effects of animal product-based diets. So I think they're being a little unscientific here, just saying because there's a few studies that contradict what the vast mountain of science is saying, we have no consensus. Well, there really is. What I kind of find most interesting, though, is how this story, these words from Dr. Willett, caught on and spread throughout the media sphere. I mean, there was no study, like I said. Usually what happens is some study comes out and all the media outlets make sensationalistic headlines based on that study. But here it's just a speech that Dr. Willett gave in the Vatican, and for some reason the media caught it. I guess because it is so shocking to hear a Harvard professor say that if people were to eat more plant-based, more vegan-like, more like us, about 1 out of every 3 deaths, premature deaths, wouldn't happen. So I'm glad it's catching on. It's good to see some real news instead of all this fake news about vegans going bald and whatever that I have to debunk time and time again. So post your questions and comments down below. Did you see the story come out last week? Were you kind of going, cool, finally a story that's not lying and misrepresenting the facts about vegan and plant-based diets? So let me know your thoughts down below. Hit like if you got something on this video. Share it with a friend who thinks vegan diets are going to kill you and make you go bald. And until next time, guys, keep it carb, baby. Keep it carb.
You've got me spinning circles, spinning round and round, spinning till I'm dizzy, falling to the ground. You've got me spinning circles, round and round.